So here we are at the Quilters Playground, and it's Learn, Play, and Grow with Grace Company. And this is tips and tricks for the perfect borders. So I wanted to just start out with just the purpose of what a border is. It's just to frame our beautiful quilts. We spend a lot of time with piecing. So on this page here, we're just talking about the purpose of a border, and they really do have a purpose. Sometimes they are to actually make our quilt the right size. Other times we want to enhance a block or a design on our quilt. So it's just really important for us to understand the quilt top, number one, but the purpose of our borders. So we can have borders around the full quilt top, but we also can have borders around each block, which is called sashings. So no matter what you're doing, I want you to remember the golden ratio, and it's one thing I've talked about. So to quilt the perfect border, you have to have it pieced correctly. So get the right cutting tools, get the right measurements, and make it truly enhance your quilt. And so here's some guidelines for as you're piecing your top together, because I thought that's the foundation of a beautiful quilted top is the border and how accurate it is and how you pieced it together. So make sure that your borders are the right size for your quilt, because that can be the wonkiness. And if you're putting the borders on the top and then the side and going all the way around, that will throw your sizing off. So there's a right way and a wrong way to piece borders on. Um, so just watch and read the instructions on how to piece the borders. And so I talk a lot about proportion patchwork. It's really important that your border matches your quilt and proportionally. If it's so big, you have a really small quilt, a quilt top in the middle and a really big border, it's not going to look proportioned. And proportion is really important in quilting. So here's some good rules of thumb that you can print off and read all about as you're going through this. And I want you to go back through it, and I want you to really thoroughly read it. Some of us have been piecing and quilting for a long time. Others are just starting. So these are good things for you to learn and understand moving forward in our quilting. And some things you may not have even thought about. And so just make sure that we stop and take a look. So I found this online, and it was how to piece the perfect border. And she said to measure, measure, measure. And she's so absolutely right. Even as we're quilting, we need to keep our measurements down and write them down. So you need to measure top, bottom, and middle, because our measurements could be totally different from the top to the bottom, and even in the middle you could maybe have it stretched a little wider, and it could be a little wonky. So those measurements are strictly important for how you're going to quilt out your quilt. So make sure you do your measurements. Now this next screen, she's talking about piecing the borders. I don't know that I actually agree with this as a straight on grain, a straight seam on the borders rather than an angled one, a diagonal one. I kind of like the diagonal because it lays a little flatter. So you do you, okay? These are just little basic rules, and I probably wouldn't apply this to everything that I do, but she had a good thought when she said the reason she doesn't like the diagonal is it makes more wave in the quilt. So I thought a lot about that, but I've done both and I've had really good results with both. So you decide which way you like to do it. And like again, you do you. Okay, so this next one's I just want to point out pressing. Pressing is so important, and pressing is different than ironing. Pressing is pressing down and flattening your seams. Okay, I don't know that I really like to open up my seams, because I think when you're butting two seams together, it's easier to nest them. However, again, you do you, and you piece and quilt like you like. These are just suggestions. So I will nest mine and then open them up and then flatten my seams as much as I can so that I can quilt them more accurately. All right. And then just measure, measure, measure. I can't shout that out enough. Okay. So let's talk designs now. We've talked about piecing our borders on and making them nice and straight and accurate. So I want to talk about designs, and I want to talk about directional design versus non-directional design. A directional design is relating to or indicating the direction in which someone or something is situated, moving or developing, that has a particular direction of motion, progression, or orientation. So I pulled the little ducky out because he is obviously a directional design. He needs to be facing the right direction all the way around your quilt. So when you think about a border and the duck being on the border, you want him facing the same direction, or you want every other one to be facing a different direction. Now, there's a non-directional design, and this is really important when we get later on in the for sashings, okay, and borders as well. So it's a design that really doesn't matter if it's flipped any direction. And so I pulled this little design here because really it has one up, one down. And so all the way across your quilt, it doesn't matter which direction it's facing, it's going to look the same. So that's a non-directional design. Okay, so I have a little quiz for you. I wanted you to look at this page and I wanted to discuss direction versus non-directional. Of course, the duck is directional, but the one to the right of the duck, would you call that directional or non-directional? Okay, you have the little curly Q. So it's kind of directional, but this could be kind of a combination either or. It could be if you are really detailed and you like it to be facing the same direction, just really watch it, because you could come to the end of your border and all of a sudden this would be chopped off, and then you'd have two circles right next to each other. So be really careful about how you're quilting and how many designs you want across your quilt, and make them spaced accurately for the design. See, this has two of them on it rather than one, so you're going to actually need to space it for two designs. This one right here, I put the arrows in because it's all directions, you guys. And then this one right here, obviously directional because of the C, but it can be a little tricky because you're not thinking, because it's a continuous line design. We don't really think about what direction we want our borders facing and which way we don't. This one, not. So just look at all of these. Okay, so this one down here at the bottom, I wanted to see that this single one is directional because we want it facing the right direction. We don't want one up, one down, or flipped or anything like that. But notice I made it non-directional by giving it two, putting one up, one down. So as we're making our designs, or as we're thinking about what designs to put on our quilt, think about the directions and if it's a directional or non-directional. I know this is one thing I didn't even think about till I started designing, and now it's just uppermost in my mind because it's very important. And you'll learn with borders and corners, if you don't get your corners correctly or your designs all the way down, it's going to look off. All right, so once you have some of your measurements, so let's talk about measuring our quilts for our borders. You need to get the halfway mark and then break it up into sections depending on your design. So for my little quilt, I found my halfway mark, and then I did halfway in between, and then I did quarters, and then I was going to put little eggs across it for Easter. And so I call these registration marks, which are truly important for as you're quilting to keep it nice and consistent and even. And because trust me, you don't want more designs on top or the bottom or on the sides. Sometimes your eye will go directly and you'll see, no, something's going on with it. It's not quite right. And it will be, and it can be the amount of designs you've chosen to put on your quilt. And that can be the problem. All right, so this one here is for you guys to practice different designs, and they're evenly spaced all the way in. So I want you to kind of just practice different designs, breaking them up into sections and measuring it. This is a homework assignment, so this is part of it. This next one is a little wider. Wider borders tend to be a little harder for us to quilt because they are so wide, the space in between becomes like this immense expanse that we have to cover, and we get a little wobbly. So by breaking it up into sections like I did on this one here, and giving myself some registration marks. So what I did for this design, and trust me, I did this on the computer with my mouse, so it doesn't look that great, but it shows you what you can do. So this is a really wide border from top to bottom. And what I did is I broke it up into this little quarter section right here and on the bottom. So as I'm making the design, I'm going up and around, doing my little curly Q, coming back in and out, and then I'm coming down and making sure that I hit the bottom, come in, do my curly Q, and then I'm coming around and I'm coming in. And then I just keep doing that over and over and over again. And it made a fun design, but it broke it up, a really wide border, into sections. So think about breaking those wide borders up into a more simple design, and it will be easier for you to quilt. All right, this next one is for you to practice, another practice one, and I'm going to give you some designs to practice on later. So this one right here is, we're going to start talking about sashings, and I know I'm kind of going through it a little fast, but you'll get the hang of it. The more you practice, the more you doodle. That's why I do a lot of practice sheets, you guys, because I want you to think of what designs do I struggle with, okay? And start practicing them on the borders. So if you struggle with feathers, or if you struggle with spirals, or if you struggle with pebbles, whatever it is, you guys can practice, practice, practice. And the more you practice and doodle, it will make you a better quilter. All right, so this next one, I want to talk to you about sashings. Okay, sashings are a border around our block. And so remember, directional versus non-directional. This is sashing no-nos, okay? So when we think about a sashing, we just think of it as a border. We don't think about what the design will look like all the way around the quilt. So I want you to notice this cute little design. I used it, has curved, okay? So when it comes to the curved part, it looks good all the way around the outside, but this is an inside border between two blocks. But notice I have this one facing up, because it's like, which direction do I need to face it? Up or down? Which border is it going to look the best with? So it really probably isn't the right design for the border. All right, and this one is the loops. The loops are also, they're very simple for us to quilt out, and it really makes it nice. But when this inside border, this little sash right here, this is called the loop dilemma, okay? Which direction is it going to face? Because it's going to not look correct. So that's why I want you to start choosing non-directional designs when it comes to sashings around the blocks. If you think about it, it's the best way to go. Now, this little one up here, it could work, okay? And nobody would probably really notice which direction it's arched right here, or the little arc is. However, I would. And I probably wouldn't choose that. I just wanted you to see how impactful the design can look and how it can really affect your quilt. And we want our quilt tops to, our borders to highlight the blocks. And so with the designs facing the wrong direction, it can really be understated and not look as well. All right. So this one right here is for you to practice making sure that your sashings are the right directions. All right, so now I get to show you my cute little quilt and talk to you about how I quilted it. So I'm just going to play my little video right here. So I have my border here, and this is my top border. When we're quilting, we quilt top, then the middle section, and then most of the times we'll turn the quilt and do the sides. However, I'm going to quilt all the way down because this is a design that I can quilt as I'm rolling. All right, so I broke my border up into half. I made it a half, then I made it a quarter, and then I quartered that into half again. Now for this design, it's an Easter quilt. So I decided I wanted to do an egg, so I made a template. So I made a template that I could draw around, and each egg is different. However, This border print is very busy, so you really can't see it, but it will give it the texture that I want and need. So be careful. This is one of those designs that I can really go to town on, and do something fun, because you're not really going to see the details of the quilting. And see, this little egg is a little more rounded than this egg. That's okay. I'm owning it, and I'm going to. So I'm going to come down here and quilt the sides. So let me just show you really quick what I'm doing. I'm going to pull up my threads. Sorry. I'm going to tie it off. I'm just going to do a little tie off stitch, okay? And now I'm just going to go around and come back and forth and go and continue to do my next one. So I'm going to just come around. I'll cut my threads in a minute, so don't worry about those. I'm going to come back around. Now I'm just going to go back and forth, trying to stay on my design. Just kind of making a design like an egg. And it can be wider apart or closer together. Okay, so now I'm going to continue to go back around so I can get to the next egg. And notice how I'm coming back around. Now I'm going to deviate off and come and do this next egg. Okay, so now I'm back around here, but how do I get back and forth? So I'm just going to go and kind of do a little spiral in here. Kind of make it fun and whimsical. And then kind of come back up. And now I want to get back. I'm just going to go up and around to get back to the other side. And now I can come down and around and do this next egg. Okay, that egg's a little smaller, but that's okay. I'm owning it. Okay, so now I want to do some circles. All right, so here's my cute little bunny quilt, okay? Here are the eggs that I did across the top. Well, these are computer generated eggs, I'll be honest with you. So this is quilt that I just finished, and I just wanted to show you my process really quick. It was really fun to piece and a lot of fun to quilt. I had so much fun. And because of this class, I really wanted to pay attention to the borders. So I'm going to just show you what I did on the border. So this is the back of the quilt, you guys. See how much fun it is? You can actually see the design so much better on the back. But see how fun it turned out. And you know what? Make it fun. Don't be negative, just make it fun. It's not perfect by any means, but it does have a lot of character. We're going to call it all character all the time. So this is just how I quilted the top, this section right here. So you'll see this is the front, this is the back. And then the next screen, I'm going to show you my little bunny that I quilted. So on the bunny, I wanted it to be a soft little texture, so I just did little spirals all the way around to make it soft for his little tail. I just made him, bounce out. So I started in the middle, just doing my little flower all the way out because he's soft, he's bunny. Then for the grass right here, see these little spikes? I had fun just making the little spikes. And the carrots, oh my gosh, those were so much fun. They were fun to piece and also fun to quilt. I just did a little loop back and forth, looking like the lines, I call them old lady lines on the face. So I just went back and forth. But you'll notice that all my eggs are different sizes, different shades. But when it all comes together, and I'll have to be honest with you, this side has more eggs on this side than it does on this side. And there's more eggs on the bottom than there are on top. I wouldn't have told you, but I'm doing full disclosure and full honesty, okay, on it. So that's why I wanted to talk to you about a game plan, okay? I went into this quilt and I really didn't have a game plan. I knew I wanted to quilt the eggs, but I didn't know how many. And so I wasn't really careful about breaking it up into sections and things. So really have a game plan. Stay true to that game plan so it looks nice and precise. Write down all your designs that you're going to use. Write down your measurements, the distance in between, so that if you have to stop on the quilt, when you come back, you know all your measurements and everything that you're going to do, your thread colors, the designs that you're going to be using. This is so true with the automation as well as with free motion quilting. So pick out all your designs, write the names down, what you're going to do, and write them down, take pictures of them. I don't care what it is that helps you move forward, but do have a game plan. So write down your designs, take the templates, doodle and practice, and then follow it and stay true. But make sure that you're counting and measuring your distance. Even with the automation, don't allow the automation to always do it for you. Always have something in mind with the measurements so that you can size and size it correctly for the effect that you want on your quilt. So this is the end, okay? Happy quilting, everybody. Please share this with everybody. We want to help every quilter out there, even those who want to be quilters and who aren't there yet. Please like us on YouTube and subscribe, you guys. Help everybody know and learn how to register. We showed you how to do it. So we want to grow this to the biggest community. And you don't have to have all of our products. We want all your friends with other products out there. This is helping quilters move forward, and you are responsible for helping us move forward as well. So, and we want to see you live and in person next time for the Quilters Playground for the automation side, because we have a lot of tips and tricks for automation to help you grow as quilters. And so thanks for joining us today, you guys, and stay tuned because we're going to have question and answer. And please do your homework. Okay. Oh, wait. So I'm not going to share my screen anymore. I'm going to get out of it, you guys. And so I'm going to click out of this, stop sharing. I wanted to show you something on my screen. I wanted to show you how to draw this design using my marker. So we're going to start here in the halfway mark. So this is my paper, and this is just like elementary school. So we're going to go up and around, and we're going to come down and around and loop, and then come down and around and loop. This is a fun one to practice, you guys. And then I'm supposed to go out and around. I was supposed to come in first. I didn't do that, you guys. You got me nervous, and then back in, and then up and around like this, and then go the outside, and then come inside, and then outside, and keep going around. So practice this one. This is a really fun one to try and do. This is inside and then outside, and see how it gives you that little S effect. But what a fun little design. Now this one is just loops. So this is a bigger loop. We're just going to do the capital L, I call these, all the way across. But then I'm going to stop there and do the little loop in between. See that little effect? It's just a fun one as well. So I want you to practice that one. And then this one is just curves. Okay, so we're just going to do curves back and forth, up and down. But then I'm going to take my L-shaped loop and show you what I'm going to do there. So this is my L-shaped loop, but look what I'm going to do. I'm going to put that one in there like this. And I showed you how to do some of these, but I wanted to give you some inspiration. All right, so that is one. This one here is kind of fun. This is the same loop. We're doing the same loop several different ways. So we're going across, but then I get across the top, across doing the loop, but I'm going to come back and just do a loop in between. And you'll do one on the top too. And now you have a totally different look by using just the same old design. This is a really fun one too. It's a heart. So practice your hearts. It's just up and down. Nice little cute heart cheeks. Right there. Oops, sorry. Kind of got off there. Now this is a fun one as well. This one is just little E's and L's. This is E, an L, and an E again. And then I'm going to flip them. E, L, E, and then I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to do E and an L and an E. Okay, these are simple, creative ways to use your alphabet, your spirals, and go to town and do your homework. Okay, I want to see what everybody does. It's Karla with the K, Karla at graceframe.com. And I can't wait to see how you guys are going to put your next border.
Again, watch us on YouTube. All of these playground classes are recorded and they are put on YouTube. So if you haven't seen us, check us out at the Grace Company and look for the Quilters Playground playlist. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, all the things to help us grow so that we can continue offering this for free. And then watch your email. So again, this is recorded. It will be on YouTube tomorrow, and all of the slides will be turned into PDFs and we will send those out. You'll have the homework in your hand. So watch your email for this. You'll get the video link, the course files. We'll send the discount code again in case you forgot to write it down. Links to the community registration so that you can use those or share those. So just keep an eye open for that. And with that, I just wanted to say thank you. It has been a pleasure.
Thanks, you guys.